Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Marvel episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today, we're going to be discussing the man who started it, we shall believe, and that is Wesley Snipes, as he put on the costume and the name of Blade in 1998. Some people say this movie kind of saved the MCU for a while, at least kept them viable, at least for a little bit. But this was an awesome movie. Did it stand the test of time? That's what we shall be asking ourselves. And what does the future look like as they are trying to remake this classic? What will that look like? Or restart it again, reboot the and make it officially part of the MC and the U. But Sparker, what did you think of Blade of 1998?
So I proposed Blade 1998 for a couple of reasons. One, I guess in my mind, it is kind of the beginning of Marvel on movie for me. I guess technically Spawn would have been, but as far as how, superheroes and whatnot, I thought this movie was cool at the time. It was actually at the time I thought it was cool, but I thought they made this movie for guys. I thought it was very much so a guy movie.
Yeah,
Not like they weren't really trying to appeal to everybody. They were trying to appeal to guys when they made this movie. But I still thought it was cool. Personally, I think this is Wesley Snipes just about at his best. As far as his just overall, chocolate attractiveness, he is the whole movie, really. It wasn't, even though it didn't have the big blockbuster budget of today, he commanded this whole movie, right? And he really turned the character into not something that you laugh at. Like, it was not, at first when I saw it, I thought it was a B movie, but as I rewatched it just to, just for this review, it is not a B movie. So there were some interesting things that I found out you might be interested in. They were talking, Wesley Snipes was originally interested in discussing Black Panther in the 90s. When they approached him, I guess they went a different direction and approached him about doing Blade. So I thought that was interesting. The fact that he was already trying to bring the Black superhero to the big screen in the 90s when we got Blade. So we get a Black superhero, we just get this like anti-hero as a result, which is kind of okay, I guess. I loved the dynamic between him and the Black actress whose name I can't remember. I always thought she was
Karen.
Cool.
Character-wise, Karen.
Yes, I thought the interaction between them was cool. He doesn't get the kiss that the superheroes is supposed to get, right?
Yeah, like Black women.
But he does get like this weird vampire sex scene, which in and of itself was probably like the sexiest thing ever.
What?
When he fed on her?
Yes.
When he busted in the nut, he was like, he was like, now I'm ready to fight.
You're like the only person that interpreted it as
not really. He was like,
oh, I did too.
Thank you. He was crotch out, and they slow moed it. And then he was like, I'm ready to fight because I'm rock.
Yes. This was very, I mean, that was like, even as I just brought it, like they made it vampire eroticism right there. Like it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It was the pumping. That was unnecessary. It was the, because right? I mean, when I watched it, especially when I watched it again,
the pumping? Wait, what do you mean?
What are y'all talking about?
He was kind of, like thrusting, but not thrusting.
Oh, okay. One moment as the two females have this conversation, because you guys apparently just won't understand how erotically sexy that was. So I'll just talk.
It really was.
We'll just, yeah.
Excuse me.
Y'all should just.
Well, so we're not going to understand what sex looks like?
I'm not saying it wasn't sexy.
That was erotic.
What does that mean?
I'm the one
what does that mean?
That after he got done, he smoked a cigarette, busted it, and went to fight. You were like, I don't know why you would say that, David. I'm like, she was like, stop.
But then you said you thought the pumping was.
No, you asked me why would I think his release was not.
Oh, I thought you said it was too much. It was. Maybe that was Chris. I didn't know.
No, I didn't say that.
Someone say
I'm saying what he is saying is too much.
Well,
I'm not talking about the scene.
I thought you were talking about the scene.
Oh, no, the scene was like,
no, not the scene.
She was always like, no means no, because she was like, stop. And he was like, oh, wait, not yet.
No, she said, don't stop. She said, don't stop.
She said, don't stop at first.
When she said stop
is when he stopped.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. At first she was like, "Don't stop."
It was
Rewatch it, David. Rewatch
It was too much. It was too much, and she realized it was.
Well,
too
she's a
much.
hematologist.
David
Like she
was
can
too
only
busy
give up
getting
so much
emotions.
blood. It
Yeah,
lives.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I heard this. Stop. Like, and he was like, wait.
No,
And he was like,
it
No,
was,
at that point when
she
he
could
kept going,
only
that's when
give
she said,
him
"Don't
so
stop."
much blood and live. Like she
Right.
she knew.
Oh yeah.
She was lobotomist, so she knows there's a point.
Yeah, there's a
Right.
point where she's not gonna survive.
I just
Like,
love how this is the beginning of our review here. It's just us talking about the orgasm scene, I guess. Or this
Okay,
you
what
know,
else you
I
wanna
took
talk
a
about?
screenshot of that, and that's what I used for Dahlia. When we did Power of
Oh,
the
yeah.
I said this is Wesley Snipes on Dahlia because he was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
comedy. I was like, I had to post that to the channel.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Oh, what you drinking?
But speaking of Tommy,
Just water.
I was
Just water,
listening to this to the theme song because I know you guys don't like the theme song or whatever, but it actually grew on me. I actually like the theme song now. Like I'm starting to like it now.
Wait, which song? Which one?
Talk about-
Power to respect.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, stop.
It's
Uh-oh.
good. It's good.
This,
Like,
this is the wrong review, and that don't make no damn sense. So this way, no.
No.
Put that in the comments. Thank you.
Back to Blade.
But let's not do that. But hold on. Spark, anything else for the movie?
Oh, plenty, but I can wait.
Okay. I appreciate it. Okay, Kim, as the other woman, what did you think of said movie?
Oh, I loved it.
As a
I
whole.
loved it, and it was erotic and all the good things.
Oh God, here we go.
And it's Wesley. I mean, at that time,
He said,
Wesley Snipes was just sexy chocolate, dark chocolate. Like I was a Wesley fan. Like everything about him, from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet, I was like, this is sexy chocolate right here. So so he could do no wrong until I found out he was a wife beater.
I'm about to say,
Then I was like, don't like you so much as a person, but your acting I do enjoy. So anyway, but I thought that Blade, he did a phenomenal job as Blade. Like he was phenomenal. And so and for me, Blade was one of my first ever kind of superhero kind of movies. And because my kids, they were like in that mode or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even know that this was a comic. I didn't know anything about it. But I enjoy rewatching it. We know that the CGI stuff, that was way.
It
back
actually
then.
wasn't that bad.
It
There were
wasn't- it
only a
wasn't that
few
bad.
scenes that were kind of cheesy, but the CGI that they created for, especially when the vampires die, actually wasn't bad at all.
No, it
it
wasn't.
stands up. It stands
Yeah.
up for today.
It does.
Come on.
It does. The whole movie to me does,
Cap.
right?
See,
It
this is
it
a cap.
right, it's Cap.
This is a cap.
It's Cap.
It's cap.
So
It's cap.
we will first that we will counterpoints when done. But
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
write that
really
down.
good. I like Shania
Write that down.
Latham
That's cap.
as the mom. I enjoyed just the whole vampires are so seductive. And I was like, I love to the scene. It's weird that it's the mom in the sun. Very weird.
yes,
But it
you
was
did. But you
very
were like, all
seductive.
right, let's see.
You
Let's
know
see
what
what
I'm
All
this
right,
goes.
I
Let's
just
see-
watched House of the Dragons. Let's do it.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
No, Boardwalk
understand
Empire, let's go.
I was kind of like, why did
because it's
what?
like vampires are like dogs. Like you know how dogs can bang their mom? Like a boy
did not know
dog can
that.
bang their they can.
I did not know that. Either.
Yeah, they can because they're not like us. Like we don't want to do that because we know we'll have retarded kids, right?
Boardwalk Empire.
Right. I mean, but there are retarded dogs because there is incest going on, right? Where your mom or your dad screws you. And
Kim's calling Blade retarded.
so anyway, vampires, they go through that same thing because she saw him sexually. She didn't see him.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, you grew up. Ooh.
Yeah,
Well,
I
she
was like,
also
oh my
She
God,
never
did.
seen him.
Okay, I'll go
Yeah.
with you there. She's like, she knew exactly who he was when he walked
Yeah,
in.
she
That's
was calling
Eric, my
him
son.
by his
Right.
given name, Eric.
Yeah.
It's like Eric. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh my goodness,
gross.
that's a lot.
Oh, look how you grown, my boy.
Yeah,
This don't
exactly.
make no kind of. Now her vampire baby daddy said that he's been tracking him, so
Right.
it could have been that they as a couple were tracking their child's, that kind of thing. So that's because I was like, how the fuck did you know him? Because like he was a newborn when you were dying, so that I didn't even get that. You haven't seen him since he thought you were dead.
I think okay, so Blade, as I read, remembers his birth because he was already only half human, half vampire at the time when he was being born. He remembers, quote, being ripped from my mother. So he remembers his birth. That's why he had the picture of her, but he also kind of remembers seeing her. So I'm left to assume that if she's dying, she's converting to being a vampire at the very moment that she's giving birth. So there's a lot of, I guess that's how
well, just heightened senses too.
That too, like
child, right?
Yeah. So that's what I thought. They
also,
were kind
I
of
want to point out
for.
that was not Shania Lathan that came out that coffin that first time, right? Like when I watched it, when you
yes.
It's supposed to be, but that was a different actress. That was a different actress, but it's supposed to be her.
Yeah. But they didn't want that
to be different
reveal, right? They didn't want that. But it was a different actress. It was definitely
it was supposed to be her, but they purposely put a different actress.
Thank you.
To throw you off.
Why would? Oh, okay.
Unless Frost just has a thing for black women. I don't know.
He does. He does.
Could be like,
clearly,
probably does too.
Once you go black,
he does. He likes all women, it appears, and men, because it was clearly he was getting it on with the old, what do they call him? The pureblood vampire that he kills.
Gaetano.
Yeah. So that guy, that was my impression. That guy turned Frost, and they had like a sexual vampire relationship. And then there's a lot.
I didn't even see none of that.
You didn't see that?
If you listen in the part where, remember when Deacon was in that room that had all the different blood and stuff, right? And he was in that room and he was on that computer and he was trying to break the code. Yeah. That sexual tension is there.
Yeah, he walks in, he's like, "What are you doing?" Slaps him around, and instead of slapping him back, Deacon gets real close to him, and you can see the guy like want to kiss him. Like they have like this moment of sexual tension, like. And then Deacon says something about when I was innocent and pure. It kind of implies that guy turned him.
Yeah, Gaetano turned him.
Gaetano turned him.
I got none of that. But I mean, that would make a little bit of sense for why he's on the board in the first fucking place. Because if everybody else is a pureborn, why is this half-breed here? Like, they never explained that movie-wise. Like, what?
No, they didn't. They kind of made him out to be king of the half-breeds, right? But they clearly looked down at the half-breeds as like, or
something like that. Because like I didn't get that. Anyway, so KJ, what did you think of Blade as you remember it?
When I first saw Blade, I was in kindergarten actually, and it was like, I mean it was because I was really into Marvel and stuff like that, so I was so yeah, I really enjoyed it because I had the soundtrack and everything, like. I remember I had both Rocky and Blade. I had both soundtracks. So I would get my teacher to play it, like when it's time to leave or whatever. And
play some techno. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah. It was like the beginning. It was like the beginning, the party scene or whatever. And it was like the blood scene. Like like I loved it that for some reason, like I kept playing it over and over as a kid. I bought the poster and everything. And I had the VHS, the VHS.
The VHS.
Yeah. And I used to watch that over and over. And to be honest, like since I've grown up and everything, I kind of like watched it less. Like I haven't watched it. Like I actually a couple of months ago was the first time watching Blade. Since all those years ago. So, but yeah, I still remember it's a classic. Wesley Snipes, he was in his prime. He does that martial arts type of thing or whatever. So, because he did that, I remember when he started doing that in Passenger 57, and ever since then he just kept on doing those martial arts things throughout the movies, and I used to love that. That was just like badass or whatever. And
he's always bet on black. I was like, that was racist.
Yeah.
Remember that trailer? That trailer was racist as fuck. It's like we always bet on black. I was like, he is black. I was like,
but overall though, man, like the movie itself is still a classic. Actually, I'm about to watch it after this live again. So yeah, so
okay, look, let's do it quick. Cause Chris was at least older than you. At least when the movie came out. Chris, did you see this movie in theaters?
I did. I was like, for me, I was about 12, 13 or something when I saw the movie itself. I remember obviously my mom wanted to see it because Wesley Snipes. Because obviously,
she saw Mo Better Blues and was like, he's fucking.
Well, yeah, well for her, because you gotta remember, like
he was really
like she watched like Demolition Man, loved them Demolition Man,
Also
and like
Blade.
New Jack City and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
New Jack City, all that stuff. So that was, so I saw this and I thought, to me at the time, as far as action, I was like, this is the most incredible movie ever made. And at the same time, I was watching the animated version of Spider-Man, and I was like, oh, that's the dude from the show. And that's how I kind of knew like he was a comic book character, because I was like, is that the same character from Spider-Man who's chasing down Morbius? You know what I mean? And then I was like, oh snap. And then that was it. So I always loved this movie, and I always felt like it was kept getting pushed in the back when Spider-Man came out in like 2002. Because people were like, oh, Spider-Man started all. I'm like, they were like, you know what? They were saying X-Men. They were like, X-Men and Spider-Man started it all. I'm like, you got to go a few years before that.
Know your history.
Well, yeah, especially when Marvel's bankrupt.
I 100% agree with you that this movie got lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bankrupt, they're like, this was in a back burner, so was the X-Men. And they were like, well, what do we do? And Avier was like, well, let's do like a lesser known character first. And then they're like, it's a Blade, and they're like, I don't think that's going to work. And it's like, no, let's do it. And then like you said, Stephanie, like they convinced Wesley to do it. And Wesley was like, because he was so into it, like he even did interviews before Ryan Reynolds did the whole Deadpool stuff, like in costume or whatnot. Wesley Snipes did it first. Wesley Snipes was in costume, and there's an interview I think still on YouTube of him doing a full interview as himself, as Blade. He was like,
that's cool.
Yeah, Wesley. He's like, Wesley.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that too.
Yeah,
so,
he's like, yeah.
Chris, you said something that reminded me. The other reason they probably chose Blade was because in the 90s, that was yet again another resurgence of the vampire subculture.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Everybody loved vampires in the 90s. So this was right on point with everything that was popular.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot Marvel went bankrupt at one point. I thought
Vampire
it was
Brooklyn. Fuck.
Yeah, Vampire in Brooklyn.
Well, yeah.
There was a lot.
There was a lot of vampire stuff. An Interview with the Vampire came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then
Salem's Lot, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of vampire popularity at the time.
Because it always comes back, right?
Yeah.
We know this. It always comes back.
It always comes back.
Yeah.
But this dude was legit. I just remember what's so fantastic about this film was the fight scene because remember, everyone
phenomenal.
This was before Matrix, right? The Matrix changed fight scenes for the good and the bad. Luckily, this came before in the Matrix because it did not have to do the slow motion thing or whatever. Yeah. Which you see, like, let's be real. As much as I love like John Wick is amazing. I would say John Wick is probably closest to Blade as far as action sequences, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But you see in the majority of action movies now, especially when it comes to superhero stuff, they always have to slow it down to certain things. But Wesley Snipes, because he choreographed everything when it comes to fight scenes or whatnot, everything looked great. Like it was just fast paced, and you're just like, and they used mostly practical effects, except like when they were like turned to dust, which I'm sorry, I disagree with about the CGI thing, even though I would say it's probably still better than She-Hulk. But you know, yeah,
I would agree with you. It was better than She-Hulk.
Yeah. So, but everything else was perfect. Like even the music, even like when he killed Quinn, right? Quinn, like when he took the glasses and whatnot, and he slowly put it on, and then the music starts up like, and then you're like, oh, it's gonna happen. It's going on now. Yeah. And I just rewatching. I was like, oh shit, I'm still feeling this way. I was like, yo,
that's how the excitement was still there. Yeah.
I was like, that's how a movie should be, right? And I mean, and the way him and Wesley, see what you were saying about the fact that he didn't really have a love interest. I think that's what I loved about it, is that you did not have to have a lead female and necessarily have to have her fall in love with the lead guy, which is what they do in pretty much so many other films. But what's so great about that is that she's just stood on her own. You know, she just stood on her own. And yes, there's certain things with her that was corny, but they did not have to follow the same trope as far as saying, oh, he rescued Dame and now Dame falls in love with him. It wasn't that, you know what I mean? And
I agree with you there. And they did make her a very strong character. I mean,
right.
And they didn't beat you over the head with it, but she was strong before, then she's just growth. I mean, they did a little bit of the trope of, I'm I'm stuck. I have to stay with him until I figure, until
Until I
I'm
figure
safe.
this out.
Yeah.
And
But-
they actually
In a way.
had the line in there, but
She
I
said
agree
that.
with you, Chris.
Yeah, but she also saved his life a few times. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
she
But you're
did.
right.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah.
You're right.
She's
no,
always-
what I'm saying is I agree with you, Chris. Like they made her a strong character.
Yeah.
And they made her stand on her own and not just be the helpless damsel in distress, which
Right.
Kim,
Which-
I mean,
Kim
and
Basinger
then I guess the
1989's
biggest
Batman.
Yeah, and then the biggest thing for me is that like
Exactly.
there were subtle comedic moments from Wesley that you tell was ad libs and whatnot. Like the line behind me, like motherfucker, you out of damn line. When the cop, like when he like saves the
Yeah.
girl, and then the cops are shooting us, like you're like motherfucker, you out of damn line. I guarantee you that was not in the script. You
It
know what I
probably
mean?
wasn't.
It was like the
probably
way, like that was straight up Wesley right there, right? And then him doing the whole pump check after he like nailed Quinn's hand or whatnot. Like, yes, it's like damn. I said, damn, I'm good. Like him pumping himself up to him cutting Deacon in half and him coming back together and he's mouthing
Yeah.
like
yeah.
I was like, yo, it was just so awesome how like there's certain things where he just like it was like he just did stuff himself, like even drawing the line with the sword, like crossed his line and I'm
Yeah.
fuck you up type deal.
I'm sure you're right. That was totally ad lib, but it was still cool.
Yeah, but you know what? And that's what's so great about when you have certain characters where you're just like, I can't see anyone else playing this role or whatnot. I mean, yes, we say that about Robert Downey Jr. with Iron Man. We say that about Hugh Jackman with Wolverine. But I think we always forget about Wesley when it comes to Blade. Yes, we're getting Mahershala Ali, and and he kind of looks like Blade. But I'm now rewatching this movie has me scared shitless of this new film.
Yeah.
Because
Me too.
I mean, I think Mahershala is an amazing actor, and I think as far as acting wise, he'll do great with Blade. But I'm like, yeah, but is he like doing like, is he like knowing how to fight? Is he training with UFC fighters, for example, or is he like, is he?
I hope so.
It's like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping.
They've given it enough time. They've pushed the project back several times. Now we're into 2024, right?
But now it's a writing issue. I mean, this is not just. I mean,
No,
so like
but
that's a whole.
the director quit.
And yeah, because I mean, they were looking for a new script, and that's a whole other problem.
Yeah.
Well, then what my point is to Chris's point. I'm sorry. The new actor has time to get his to hone the fighting part, or the blade, or even if they don't go towards the martial arts part, but they go towards the blade smith, the blade fighting, sword fighting aspect of it, and make that the focus. Like there's still a lot of time to like make those scenes look really good.
There's stuff they can do, like similar to what they did with Matt Damon in the Bourne Identity films, like where they use like different camera angles and whatnot.
He looked good in that.
Yeah, it looked good, and you realize
really good, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
It's like, yeah, the action scenes look good. I thought you meant the action scenes look good. Okay, you're talking about
all of the above
of
Matt Damon in the Bourne Identity. We'll discuss that another time.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we need to have a breakout room with y'all, just y'all two, I guess. But yeah, it's just but yeah, I was just surprised at how well this movie, for the most part, still held up. And even with the lore of Deacon Frost, the only issue I have really is who they got to play Deacon Frost, because if you're familiar with the comics, he's a big time vampire. You know what I mean? And Stephen Dorff, no offense to him, but he just looked like he was like, I know that was a big thing back in the 90s, just having being emo, and The Crow already came out, so I'm just gonna be like, like,
I'm sorry,
you pure vampires can't tell me what to do. I'll go to my room when I want to. Stop telling me what you do, you dad.
I would say that he's probably going to end up being a darker character in the remake.
Yeah,
he was
very...
kind of like that whole pure blood versus turned, whatever they called it. Like, there was
speciesism. Caste system. It was a caste system. It was a caste system.
It's as a motivation, it's kind of lost.
Yeah, and then unfortunately with him, it's not believable. I mean, I know he turned like immortal at the end, but it's still not believable when you got jacked up Blade who killed the entire club like in the beginning sequence, and him going towards like an emo looking Stephen Dorff, and you're like, bro, I just couldn't. It was just hard to still see that, you know what I mean? I know I just had to be like, no, he's immortal now, so this is different, but I'm still being like, Blade about to fuck you up, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Like your homie behind him, he lost
it
two
could have
hands.
been like a Eric. Remember Eric from True Blood? Like if it was,
Yeah.
I think Deacon probably should have been a dude that was big like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That stature, because that guy, I think Eric.
But Kim, this is the '90s. There was plenty of them.
He's 6'6", isn't he? I thought Eric was like
Eric?
6'6".
He's tall as fuck.
Yeah, the guy, the actor. Yeah, him and his
it's
brother,
a
they're
big
pretty
dude.
tall.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I mean, like I'm thinking like this is the '90s. You could have got one of those those roided out actors back then
Sure.
to just play like a Deacon Frost. You know, I mean, I know what was it the sequel they did that they wound up having the villain being much bigger or whatever.
Yes.
But still, you know what I mean. But I would say to me that's the only downside other than just a CGI. You know, but back then it was great. It looked great then, but it was like rewatching Terminator 2. Now and you're just like, I was like, oh, it's great, and then you're like, oh, that's
I will say to your point that they don't rely on the CGI in the movie as much. I mean,
you're right.
You know,
like when the dude's burnt up, when he's all burnt up.
That was the
all
only part that
practical
was
effects.
like,
That was gross,
but that
though.
was cheesy.
It was great.
It
It was great. It wasn't
Yeah.
CGI. It was straight
Yeah,
up like
it wasn't
they
CGI,
made
like-
him up with like burnt stuff on him.
Yeah, they
They
did.
put stuff on him, which let's be real, they did nowadays. They would CGI up like they did with Machine Gun Kelly in that
Right.
Jamie Foxx film about
Powers.
powers. They just
Right.
it just looked ridiculous, and that's another reason why I'm fearful about this new movie because I'm thinking
Because
how
of
much
all the
CGI they're going to
CGI.
throw in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, are they going to do CGI? They need to rewatch this one and realize, like, look, let's stick to like.
One hopes that they called Wesley Snipes and had a conversation or five.
He should be
you
Wesley.
know what I mean?
He should be
have a
Wesley.
cameo. I
They
feel
should
like
no. He should be Wesler. I'm telling you, he should be Wesley.
Oh yeah, he could be.
that would be perfect.
That
Could
would
the
be
new Wesley.
cool, but I feel like the cameo that they choose for him will be brief. If we won't get
Yeah.
him like throughout the film.
She.
I'm just
It's-
saying.
no.
I
So
feel like that's
make
what
him.
they're
Yo,
gonna do.
I had to pull the wire on you on that one. No, you better give him more than 5 seconds.
I think it's
But,
gonna be 5 seconds. I don't think he's gonna be
Yeah.
in there
Well,
very
you
long.
at least give him a Harrison Ford cameo like they did in that Star Wars film.
Okay.
What was it Force Awakens?
Well,
or whatever?
he played his own. He played his own
He
character.
played
so-
himself. Yeah.
You can't. You can't.
Okay,
redo that.
but
All right, well, maybe
I-
he played Deacon Frost. Maybe be the new Deacon Frost. Maybe.
And he's too old for that.
Oh, Wesley's too
Wesley-
old. Wesley's
Yeah,
like
he's too old.
No,
You-
but
yeah.
I actually have an idea, but because you started talking about the new movie. But anyway, David was about to say something before
But no, I'm done. I'm done though. You can go.
before I asked the group a question.
Oh, I would say are your points. My CGI what upset me to I think Chris' point, the final fight, Deacon Frost absorbed the flying vampire essence of like 12 vampires, right?
Yes.
And was just a dude with a sword all of a sudden. And I'm like, where the fuck did the sword come from? I'm like, this because Wesley knows how to use a sword, so they won the sword fight, but that made no damn sense. Like to me, he should have became some kind of like vampire, like beast, like a realistic looking one, but something to that nature. And then Wesley should have fought him. And then that fight, that blood exploding thing looked fucking ridiculous. It looked ridiculous then. It looks ridiculous now. Like for that to be because the fight took like 2 minutes again, because he's Wesley Snipes and he's hyped on human blood and like it looks stupid. Like and he just blew up and shit. I'm like,
Okay, so to be honest with you, I completely forgot how bad the whole blood thing looked when the exploding. Yeah. Okay. That part of when I said the CGI stood up, I was literally thinking of when the vampires disintegrate. I was not. I
Yeah.
was like blocked out the blood thing.
I was like, this.
You're
this
right
is-
about
Oh, what
that.
about
You're
when
right
he
about-
was bleeding in the stone? When he was in the stone and the blood was coming out, and it was ketchup.
Oh, well, yeah.
Ketchup.
Oh,
I
was
was
it
like,
ketchup? Oh.
it was
But-
too thick to be actual. It was weird, and it wasn't even red.
Oh.
Red. It was like a pinkish red.
But to Chris'
Oh, I
point,
was-
these days they would have did some CGI with that silly shit. So
Yeah,
it
it would've
was,
been
it was
CGI.
practical, and that makes it. It's something flowing. Like, look, so I
Right.
I can accept that. To your point of him being sexy, I'm like, your shirt don't have to be off because you're just cutting your wrist. So why
So
are
it
you
has
taking
to
off
be
his
off.
shirt?
No, the
Your
shirt has to be off
off.
because I needed his shirt off.
I was
David,
like,
this the
especially
audio-
when
David, this
he's
the
gonna hump that
90s,
girl.
man.
But anyway, so KJ, what's I thought that and then we've seen this in other silly shit. Frost is putting on sunblock and being like, I'm gonna sit outside in the sun.
I'm gonna stand
I'm-
outside in the sun and with my
Stop it.
sunblock on.
And
That was
And-
corny.
that was
and a motorcycle helmet. and a motorcycle helmet.
At
And then
least
I'm
the
like,
motorcycle helmet made more sense than the sunblock.
I was like, this don't
Okay.
make no sense. And then how are all the true blood vampires weak as fuck? Like they could easily be grabbed, set down. Like they should be super beasts. Like in True Blood, that older dude that punched through that guy, like he was a beast. Like Eric was scared of shit.
Apparently, when you get to be a vampire elder, right? You don't have to. You don't have any strength anymore. You can't toss people through a wall.
I was very disappointed. I thought if we're just to talk about Chile, I thought that's why I wish we would have reviewed Blade 2 because that villain was boss. Like,
the original vampire,
huh?
The original vampire, that guy.
No, not that. That was Blade 3. No, Blade 2 was the half.
The mutant.
The mutant.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Dude, I was like that. He fucked Wesley. Even hyped up on blood, he whooped Blade's ass. Like he killed himself. He killed himself.
The only reason I chose this one was because it was the first one.
No, it was good. I mean, it's a great movie. I'm just saying, like they got better. Is my point. They got better with the villain. It was more realistic. It was a hardcore fight, and he lost. He really did lose that one. But the guy was like, I don't want to live anymore, and he was like, and I was like, oh, like I felt for that villain. Like and I was like, it was awesome. But then you look at the trilogy. Then it got silly with the whole fucking like we're going to the original to the original to the original, like, and I'm like, God damn, and like just get to Dracula and have this shit be over with. But and then Wesley kept on coming, Whistler kept on coming back. I'm like,
like, by the time you get to number 3, it was just kind of what are you doing? What are you doing,
man? It hurt me. It hurt me to watch this shit. I was like, Wesley, you should end it too, bro. This ain't it.
Hey man, he had a contract.
They're paying you.
Well, yeah, he didn't want to do it though. Don't you remember? He didn't want to. They had him on the contract and he was forced to do it. That's why there was a lot of issues. If you hear from Patton Oswalt and Ryan Reynolds, like they were talking about how like how he was on set because he just didn't give a shit.
He
like,
was
you know what
mean
I mean?
on set.
But like, yeah, he even had they had to CGI his eyes being open because he refused to open his eyes in one of the scenes.
Yeah.
So they had to CGI his eyes. Oh yeah, look that up, man. Oh yeah, that is
he was
crazy.
an ass. He was a the first one he was fist fighting the director. Yeah. I mean, who fist fights the director? And the guy stayed on set and continued doing the movie, even though he was getting his ass whooped by Wesley. Wesley would get up in his face. He would yell in his face.
In the first movie,
was executive. Yeah.
Are you sure that wasn't a third film? I thought it was the third.
No,
director.
that was the first one. I believe.
Because remember, he didn't even like the script of the third one.
He didn't like. I think that's why. He's executive producer.
Was he on drugs or something? Was he on drugs or something?
Yeah, he just knew his tax bill was piling up. He's like, damn it, how am I gonna do these taxes? He's like, Nicolas Cage, give me some help. He's like, Nicolas Cage's like, just don't pay it. It's like,
I was like, I did like. I like to say I like the idea of the fact that there wasn't necessarily like love interest. Like she was solid. Whistler with his relationship, Whistler was awesome. Like and like it was short, but it was the same. Yeah, like it was there. Like you felt it. Like you felt it. Yeah. And even with the history, I think I would like the flashback of like with his family being murdered, like how they got hurt his leg, like to kind of see it. I think that would have been awesome since they did a flashback of Blade being born to see that like that trauma. I think would have been cool.
I think they might do that in the remake.
They might do that, and then
I hope they have the budget.
I just hope it wasn't Frost that did that too. Because I'm like, damn it, like this would be kind of
no. That would have been no. I hopefully
that'd
not.
Too much.
That's too much. Then you would have made Frost be the only vampire.
Like, right? No. If Frost would have been the one that killed Whistler's family and the one that made Blade and the
I'm like that's too much.
Yeah,
I'm spread them a little thin.
It would have been hilarious. I was like, wait a minute, the guy you've been hunting all these years is your vampire daddy? Where's your real daddy, by the way? Because you are human.
No, his real daddy is in Lativia. If you was that Lativia, the place of Dr. Doom, which made me think, especially with Blade coming out soon.
Who's real daddy?
Blade's real dad.
He's a what? Where?
He's a prisoner in Doom's
of course
Doom City.
I don't understand. I thought Frost was Blade's dad.
No, vampire dad.
He was
born at one point. I'm like,
his human dad. His human dad. Okay.
Yeah, his human dad. Yeah.
Oh, they might do that then. That might do that then.
Yeah, that might be. I'm not thinking because like if they're already kind of confirming that Wakanda Forever is going to have that city, and since Blade's coming out, I wonder if there'll be a connection. I don't know, probably not. So, but
Well,
that'll be kind of interesting.
That's what I was going to ask the group about connections to the new movie. So as I was doing my research, the dark, or what's it called, the Dark Blade that they talk about at the end of Eternals. I was wondering, since apparently they have this voiceover of the new Blade at the end of Eternals, and what was that, one of the post-credit scenes?
Yeah.
And it's like, are you really ready to handle, the consequences of lifting the Dark Blade? And I kept asking the internet, well, does Blade ever wield the Dark Blade? And I don't get an answer. I don't get an answer either way, right? So I was wondering if maybe as they try to tie in the new Blade with the what do they call it?
The Eternals or Wakanda?
Just tie it into the MCU story, phase 5.
Yeah,
would it like upset the apple cart that the Blade story kind of goes into the Dark Blade, which ties it into the Eternals and all this other stuff? Like Blade wields the Dark Blade thing. Does that make sense to anyone? Do you think they'll go in that direction?
Yeah, I don't think they
it's
will.
possible. Yeah.
I mean, that Blade's supposed to be wielded by the Black Knight himself,
right?
And he has a lot of crossovers with Blade. They fight alongside each other. So my prediction is that Blade in the movie Blade, we'll see Black Knight appear in the movie, helping him out fight the vampires, which he actually helped Blade in the process too with that. You know what I mean? So I don't think.
So it makes sense.
I don't think the Blade
would know.
Well, because don't forget, Blade is also a historian too. Blade knows a lot of the history, and I think that's why they threw that line. Like, are you sure you want to do it? Because he knows about the Blade.
Oh,
and he doesn't want to use it. Like he's like no mere mortal should be wielding a blade that's all about bloodlust. Right. Because he's a vampire, he knows all about bloodlust itself, but so does the Blade. So I doubt he's going to have a blade that's going to make him be even worse than what he kind of is. You know what I mean? I mean,
it would be cool if he did.
It would be kind of cool. Yeah, it was like, give me the blade, and he's like, oh, I can't stop killing.
Well, I mean, I think the Dark Blade works on you over time. It's not like you pick it up and immediately you're your evil self, right? So
it's like the Ring and Lord of the Rings. I think like once you start using it more, it just corrupts you. It just kind of corrupts you.
So maybe if Blade had wielded it at least once, then he knows the pull that it has. Yeah. But like you said, he's also a historian, so he knows because of his.
I mean, we don't know what new story they're going to write, so it could be that he wrote it for a while, but now it's handed over to the Knight, and so they could try to tie it like that. They could do like that.
Yeah. So I was just wondering what you guys thought about the tie-in.
I remember that. So KJ, what do you want to see in the new Blade movie? What would you like to see? Any characters or action?
I would, probably maybe like different actors. Obviously, going to play the same characters, but yeah, I would. I'm really interested to see how this new actor is going to pull off the Blade because, like the rest of you guys, I'm a little scared of. I hope they don't mess this up because Wesley Snipes has did a remarkable job on his films. He's at least of the 2 films, but yeah, but I just. Man, I can't imagine anybody playing Blade, but I just hope Marvel don't mess this up, man. But I just hope, But yeah,
I think rating is going to be an issue. Blade was rated R, if I do believe.
Why is it an issue? Blade was rated R
because this is Disney. I know.
That's another thing movies too. Wait, isn't Deadpool rated R?
That's what they said. That was so before that was
Deadpool 3 now. They confirmed Deadpool 3.
Yeah, but wasn't Deadpool the first one rated R?
But that wasn't Disney. That wasn't Disney in the MCU.
But they already confirmed. Disney already confirmed that Deadpool 3 is going to be rated R.
Okay, so we'll see. So they can make Blade rated R. I mean, these are anti-heroes, right? They are not flowing capes of of goodness, right? They're like,
I was gonna say they're not gonna go back to making Punisher PG-13 again. Not gonna do that.
Yeah,
that's what the internet says.
So if you remember Blade, watching it again as an adult and paying attention to shit, that club scene was some wild shit. Like Quinn was getting head.
Quinn was getting head.
I was like, this is.
I didn't notice it the first time.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't notice that the first time, and I was like,
I did not notice it the first time.
I was like, Quinn getting it in. I'm like, I'm sure that's not going to be in the new Blade, and you know, like him just mad slaughtering people. Like I don't know how, but like, so it'd be if Deadpool. No, Blade is coming first. Blade's coming first, right? Because before
when is Deadpool
3.
2024, but
yeah,
Disney already kind of made
Blade is
announcements about
2024.
So I'm like, again, rating will determine what this movie was going to be. If
I agree.
First read,
yeah, I feel the same way about that. Well, even though
to be honest, that could be why Disney's having a problem with the movie.
Yeah.
Because if they're trying
Maybe.
to shoehorn in PG, or if they have someone who, or in the other way around, you've got writers who write PG and you're just like, this is a rated R film, like that could be why they're having problems.
Yeah. Sure.
This is the problem. The thing that the MCU need to do, at least for a few of these characters, right? Because the Midnight Suns characters, which we talked about in previous reviews, about there's certain characters that if you keep them in the same box, they can be rated R and they deal with just each other, right? So you can have Blade with the Punisher, with Moon Knight, right? With like Ghost Rider. Like you have these characters and they kind of go into each other's films. Oh, Black Knight as well. You know what I mean? All these characters who are just very vicious in nature. You know what I mean? It would definitely work. Like, yeah, like you don't necessarily need to have Punisher in the next Captain America film. Like, no one's asking that. But like, it still works. They can all coexist in the sense of you just allowing them in their same box. You know what I mean? I just don't.
I 100%
but I feel like
agree
Disney
with
sometimes
you.
don't care. You know?
I think they get confused and they look at the numbers and they realize that the where their money comes from is the 11 to what is it 11 to something
like
teen
or something.
year old male. That's where the majority of their funds come from, so they target that PG because they don't want to let go of what they think will be a huge chunk of the movie theater dollar. But in this instance, kind of how like Blade got started as not a necessarily blockbuster, not trying to appeal to everybody. This was a movie for a specific audience. They can do that with these characters. I agree with you, Chris.
And Logan, don't forget though, Logan actually made bigger numbers than the last X-Men film that they came out with the Phoenix or whatnot.
Oh,
so you got the X-Men, but Logan that was rated R did much better. Like, so there is a risk of doing PG-13. Just don't like the whole. You're right in the sense of like straight up Hollywood's like, oh, we gotta do stuff that's kid friendly. But then you risk making the movie so shitty that if you just would have stuck to your guns, like what Ryan Reynolds keeps fighting for with the whole rated R stuff, you can make like blow up the box office with a rated R film. You know, I
agree. I mean, people were so grateful for Deadpool when it came out because it was an adult movie for adults. Like.
But then you got you being like Moon Knight, like there was a lot of killing in Moon Knight, but
that's Disney Plus though. This ain't Disney Plus film. Like I feel like anything that's gonna be on Disney Plus is gonna be like a PG-13-esque, unfortunately. But if you do the movie thing, that's completely different. You know what I mean? Well, I feel like Disney Plus, unfortunately, I think they're gonna just be stuck. You know what I mean? Only movies is where they get to run loose, do R. Like I can't ever see a Deadpool show on Disney Plus. It's just gonna be horrible. It'll just be like, you know what I mean? But a movie,
is the new
they're allowed
Blade
to
going to be on Disney Plus, or is it going to be released to the?
No, it's going to be in the theater. My point is like,
but then they can do an R movie then.
A movie. As long as you just keep it away from Disney Plus. Keep it away from that show. The show.
My point is that Moon Knight, all the killing was done off camera. Like when we reviewed that show, we were upset. Like it was all of it, and then like so he was violent and a murderer, but you saw none of it. And
they made it. Yeah, you're right. But it wasn't showed you dead bodies. Right. They showed it. They made it clear that he's a violent person. Right. But they didn't show it to us. So if they decide to bring Moon Knight to the theaters, I feel like we're gonna get rated R Moon Knight.
Yeah.
So then you look at the most violent would probably be like Infinity War, and Doctor Strange too.
A lot of people died.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't no blood, but like if they could, they can push maybe but for us who knew Blade, we would be like, this is that bullshit. But I mean, but they could be like, look, we can do violence and still stay within our target audience, but it's gonna be a problem.
But this movie came out in, I forget, 1998, right?
Yeah, 1998.
The movie came out in 98. So you're ideally trying to capture
Us.
the people, the old people who saw this movie in 1998 and want to see it again. So you've got a few decades now of people you're trying to get to the movie theater, not just the 13-year-olds.
The new generation. And that's relative. That's all relative. I mean, but I think they're gonna struggle. I mean, because even like I said, 20th Century Fox struggled, and they were Fox. They didn't give a fuck. But even they were like, well, ours a lot. So I mean, it's gonna be a struggle. But they have still not established rating for that movie. They haven't. I mean, for the only, like I said, only Deadpool is guaranteed.
No, just Deadpool. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they're like,
start a campaign.
Don't
punk out on Blade.
Don't punk out on Blade.
Go all the way.
I was like, just everything. Like
how do you PG-13 vampires? They literally suck your blood and eat half your throat. Like, come on.
Twilight's the only thing I can think of.
It's erotic.
Twilight, and that's it.
It ain't gonna be
Twilight's the only thing.
It ain't gonna be.
Twilight's all about love and like, I
yo,
love
when
Bella.
Frost was mouth fucking that girl with the blood in the mouth, I was like, that's not gonna be the new Disney movie. That's not happening. Like, I was like, let me tell you what's not gonna be on there. Tracy Lords or no other former porn stars are going to be in a fucking Marvel movie. Like, I will guarantee you that. Like, I was like, oh shit, Tracy Lords in this movie. I was like, does anybody know who she is? I was like, I do.
I forgot she was in this movie. I forgot.
Well, who was
Tracy Lords?
Tracy Lords, the porn girl.
Yeah,
who she play?
Adult. Oh no,
she was the mom.
No. She's the one that brought in the first guy.
Yeah, she was the chicken.
I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
the vampire.
She's a porn?
Huh?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
she was doing porn when she was 14, 15 years old. And it was
the redhead girl?
Yeah, well, she was wig, but yeah. The older, the one that walked in with the first guy from the Shield. I remember.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
That's
okay.
I didn't know that was her. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean,
didn't know.
I mean, she was retired by then, but I'm sure at the time it was important.
Yeah, she was like 23 and she was retired.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, so people were like,
to your point, the new film, it was to be a OnlyFans model that's going to play her role. So there's something to OnlyFans.
It was just for name recognition. I'm sure at the time it was just funny to see her. I was just like, hey. I was like, let me tell you what Disney's not doing. They're like, no. There's certain things we're just not going to. So so they haven't even written the script for this movie because they're looking for a new writer. So I don't think they're going to redo 1998. Like
no, this has got to go in a new. It can't be just a remake of the first one. It's like a new story for sure.
Yeah, new story, maybe some flashbacks, but that's it. That's it.
I think
tie in. I think. I would love it if they tied in the biology aspect of it, or what was she? She a hematologist? Or,
hematologist.
Yeah, I would love it if they tied that kind of thing into it, or maybe advance the story with like, oh, we can cure vampirism or whatever. If you're something. Give me something.
Should MCU get Sony involved again and be like, hey, can we borrow Jared Leto? Just
stop it.
No,
that's what they shouldn't do. That's what
because Morbius does have a lot to do with Blade, and don't forget, even the animated show, if it wasn't for Morbius, we wouldn't even got Blade. So.
Okay, I tell you what, I'll give you a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's it.
So wait a minute.
Like very intriguing. There's a guy named Blade who's like very intriguing.
Or a pre-credit scene, but
pre-credit,
but no significant character involvement in the
so maybe the scientists again, maybe they can bring they can't bring back Karen because she would be tied to the first movie, but I mean similar character to be like there's scientific grounding for vampires, and they're like, hey, there's someone out there, but then that would put this in
Karen if she spends the rest of her days studying and studying this and deep dive, PhD level shit, whatever. That would be perfect.
She's still an attractive woman.
Yeah, she still is. I mean, even though last thing I seen her here in was that Dave Chappelle skit with Calvin. She said, "Calvin, get a real job."
Let's bring
the whole whack on
and say that she
that was the girlfriend. Yeah, that was Calvin's girlfriend. He said, "Bitch, I'm broke." Bitch, it's a baby crying. That was her. With the
wow. She has aged well. But I mean, it'd be.
So it would be cool as long as they don't make it like, again, it's just a part, right? It's just a part of the story. It's not
52 years old. She could do it.
She's only what?
52 years old. She could do it.
Yeah, she looks good.
Yeah,
though.
she'll be fine.
Looks good. She looks really good.
I'm not saying she look. I'm saying she could be in the movie. I'm saying to bring in putting Morbius in this would put him in a different universe. It would put.
Oh no, we agree on Morbius.
That's I don't know. Any reference.
I'm holding on to this.
Watch the Morbius movie. Is it good?
No.
But they can make him good. They can make it good.
I'm just
saying.
Why
are you trying to save it? Why are you trying to save it?
No, because I feel like it is hard to do. So it's hard to do having Blade in the MCU, especially everything that has to deal with the Marvel history, and not having some sort of Morbius tie-in. It's just weird.
Okay,
I don't know.
I told you can have.
Now maybe it's just because I'm a fan. Now, obviously,
I
guess if
you're not 2 post-credit scenes. How about 2 post-credit?
That'll work.
So if Kang is still in play, that means the multiverse is still in play, right? So they could do that. The multiverse is falling apart, and fucking like Morbius and Blade like come together for about 5 minutes, and then they separate again.
So,
and
so here's the deal. So Morbius, so Morbius is the reason actually. Everyone forgets how important Morbius is to Marvel as far as certain characters being able to control their inner demons because of blood, right? So like with She-Hulk, we were saying She-Hulk, the actual reason why She-Hulk was able to control herself and able to.
We said that.
Oh yeah, that's the version the Disney wanted to do, whatever. But we all know the actual version was because of Morbius, who she defended or whatnot. Morbius is the one like studied her blood and was able to counteract it, where she can actually control herself. You know what I mean?
So hold on, you want to bring Morbius in as the new Karen role of the knowledge?
No, I don't even mean that. No, to your point, I think post-credit thing will probably be better. But I guess my point is, what could they have? They could have Morbius being like a secret benefactor is sending you the serum. It's like, well, who's it from? We don't know. Some stuff.
I'm down with that.
Mr. Red or something.
That's awesome.
And then at the end, he's like, and then Blade at the end, he goes to like London or something. It's like he's like, who is this guy? Or whatever.
Or he's the one that's been funding Karen's research.
Yeah,
this whole time.
Yeah, they have someone to lead involved. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then who is it? And then here comes Jared Leto. It's like, you look very intriguing, or something. That's it.
That's awesome.
Then Blade,
and then that's it.
Blade ends up
like he sniffs him out. Like
I can smell.
So you smell like a different vampire that I'm used to, or something. I don't know. Maybe.
No, I mean it's still like now your crossover idea makes sense
because the actual thing with Morbius and Blade, the connection was Blade was hunting down Morbius because he originally thought he was the reason for his mother being changed until he realized it was actually Deacon Frost. But then when they both teamed up together, Morbius was able to help Blade to control his bloodlust. He was the one who actually did it. Blade, like Morbius helped Blade, She-Hulk, several other characters from I think it was like even not Iron Fist, Human Torch. I'm sorry, I don't know why I was about to mess up the name. You know, he helped out so many people when it came to like their DNA and actually having them control it. And yes, Sony dropped the ball with that damn.
It would be like a pre-credit scene where we see that for some reason later on, after Blade is having a hard time controlling his bloodlust, enter Morbius in this whole. We get flashbacks of the mentor-student relationship type of thing. So you can, and there's your tie-in. And then Morbius, is the secret benefactor of the serum.
Now you got a Spider-Man relationship and shit. Like every other 3 or 4 years, they got to put the characters together and be like, I don't know. I mean, Spider-Man was actually successful. Like,
I'm not sure how you got to Spider-Man.
Because again, so Spider-Man being shared by Sony, they share him together, but he can't be in a movie by himself. Like if he's the MCU movie, he has to have other characters. So similar, you're saying with Morbius is a Sony character. So for him to be in the MCU, like they would have to make another contract to be like, we can use Morbius from time to time. And I'm saying, but then like Morbius he's getting a part 2 for some damn reason. So like,
so they can fix it.
The movie was terrible.
It was.
Well, this is their opportunity to fix it. So no, I'm not suggesting that.
But
Blade
it wasn't the acting. The acting wasn't
himself.
bad. It was the writing.
Right.
So.
No, they can't. I'm saying, I mean, they're gonna make a part 2. I'm saying like if he comes, like it's gonna be something like I said, he'll be inside somebody else's movie. He could be in Blade. I mean, as a thing, and that may help him get his own second movie. Like whenever he gets his second movie, like that would be kind of interesting to say that we're still connected in the broader sense. And then remember, Falcon, no, not Falcon. Fuck, what's his name? Vulture. Vulture is now with Morbius for some silly ass reason. So if if Morbius is there, that means fucking that means Vulture is there. So like you gotta connect that, and they're still trying to do the whole.
No, you don't. Just like Captain Marvel, just be like, oh, off world, or like Vulture would just be doing something else. Vulture's like, oh, I got something else I had to take care of.
Sorry, buddy. I'm not in this one.
Easily. Or very quickly they'll just have him get blipped back or something for some. I don't know. They'll be like, oops, we made a mistake. Oops, I forgot who Peter Parker was again. And then
he's like I'm in Flashpoint. I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta be Batman again.
I gotta be Batman again, my old ass. Anyway,
I do have to go. So thank you everybody for watching the movie.
Thank you. With that, we're gonna wrap this shit up. Bye, Sparker. All right. Bye. So Kim, anything else? Kim, before we go.
Oh, no. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I've always been a fan of Wesley Snipes. Again, he's a white beater, so I'm not a fan of him personally, but I do enjoy his movies.
I love you, Wesley.
Huh?
I said, love you, Wesley. Sorry, go ahead.
Whatever. Anywho. Chris. No, anyway. Okay. So he is, but I enjoyed, what I really enjoyed in this was the fight scenes. Like, they were, of course, not realistic at all. But for me, the fact that the way that it was choreographed, it was perfect. Like just the way he spun around, the way he did, he was, and even he was an ass. Yes, he was making the movie, and he did a lot of things. But I think Wesley Snipes is a perfectionist. He is a true actor, and he wants certain things to look a certain way when he's doing it, right? That kind of kicked him in the teeth, and that's why he's not in a lot of stuff now, right? So, but I felt like when he did Blade, he did a phenomenal job. He coordinated with the stunt people. Didn't like the director, but he worked with the director, and then he was an executive producer when executive actors were not doing the executive producer thing. It wasn't a lot. I would say Black actors were not doing that a lot. I think white actors were doing it, but he did it, as a Black actor, and I thought that was phenomenal because he got a say so in how the movie was made, right? And that's a good thing because he takes when he's acting. If you listen to his interviews, he does take his acting seriously. Like he takes it to heart. He is that character when he's doing that character. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was phenomenal, and like I said, the fight scenes choreographed to perfection to me. So,
thank you, Chris. Anything else?
Yeah, this movie still holds up. I was surprised at how well it did, especially kind of rewatching some other 90s flicks, even though I guess we just reviewed Seven, and I guess I was surprised at how well that held up as well. So I feel like the 90s, like there was like an era within the 90s, I guess within that 3-year time period towards the mid to the late 90s, where it's like perfectionist between that stuff and Independence Day and all that came out like 96 and stuff like that. Yeah. It was just a great time. So yeah, I mean, I was a huge Wesley Snipes fan then. I mean, I still am now. That's why it's like I just love to see that he's back. Like I know he had his legal issues and stuff with the IRS and stuff. But yeah, I'm hoping we get him, like, I don't know, and something, at least give him an executive producer credit again in the new Blade film. He don't have to be in it necessarily, but but having his involvement, I think it was great that he at least approved of Mahershala Ali, because we know how much of a dick he can be. And the fact that he just didn't do what I thought he was going to do, but no, I should be Blade. Like, I should still be Blade. And he was just like, yo, that's a great choice. I was like, oh shit! Like he don't be complimenting nobody.
So he knows he's not gonna.
Yeah, but he got an ego. Your ego don't never die. Yeah, he got an ego. Like hell, Donald Trump thinks he's gonna be 200 years old. So okay, so it's like, or at least his doctor said that. You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah. So
he also thinks he's gonna be president again.
That might.
Shut up! Don't even speak it. Don't say it. Don't.
Yo! All I'm gonna say is don't go in front of your mirror and say Candyman 3 times, because he might show up. I'm just saying, it might show up, or Beetlejuice. You know what I mean? But anyway, yeah.
This is another good movie. But
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We might need to review that one too.
Yeah,
Since
Beetlejuice was
we missed Halloween already. All right, anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Great film. If you guys are the few people that have not seen Blade, please watch it.
Yes,
Please.
yes.
Yeah. Even if you're not a techno fan. I'm not a techno fan, but man, in this film, it was good. Before Matrix, you had Blade. Just saying. You know. Yeah.
True.
KJVs, what do you got as we wrap up? What do you think?
Overall, it's a good movie. Like I said, I haven't watched it in a couple of months. Hearing you guys talking about it made me, want to watch it again. Just to get a fresh start and everything. So because it's overall, it used to be my one of my all time favorite movies. Like God, I was like a Blade fanatic when I was a kid. Like I used to like for some reason like this movie just like really caught my attention because while all the other kids was watching cartoons, I was watching Blade. It's like it was just really really great to me. So yeah, overall like it's a good movie. You should check it out. Great 90s flick and Marvel flick as well. And you're gonna really enjoy it. Like it's a really great film. So yeah. Overall, Wesley Snipes is one of my favorite actors. So yeah, it's great.
The Godfather of Marvel films. Yeah. Well, I said the Godfather of Marvel films as well. Saying that.
Oh yeah. You can follow me on Instagram. Another reminder. So it will probably be in the description or whatever. But it's up to you. But yeah. You can follow me, check it out on my page and stuff. Like I'm always on Instagram and and uploading it, just talking about different things and stuff like that. But check me out, see, what I'm saying. But yeah.
Cool. Chris, you saying the Godfather of Marvel?
Well, I was saying this movie's the Godfather of Marvel films. That's all I'm saying. It's like the granddaddy of them. That's all I was.
And what about?
And I don't think that he gets that credit, and he should get that credit. I really think so. I think that somehow when Wakanda came out, everybody forgot. Even though I understand why Wakanda is so phenomenal because the entire cast basically is Black. That makes it huge, right? But at the same time,
Luke Cage was first before that too, though. Sorry, go ahead.
Stop it. That wasn't part of the MCU. That was not the that was Marvel's and also so anyway. But
okay, MCU. Yo, it's like we only had a couple. Okay, we wanted to play that card.
I'm just saying, like Wesley Snipes was like this role is huge because it was a Black action hero, right? And it was Marvel, and it was a comic book character. So this is huge. And like I said, he became an executive producer when Black actors were not doing that. They didn't have the option to do it. But he, being who he is, was like, no, I'm not gonna do this unless I have like a say so. And so they gave him his executive producer credit. So I think that's phenomenal.
And to the TV shows, we had Luke Cage, which was, like I said, absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Cage was good. It was.
But now we get to put all this shit into the official MCU. If Luke Cage comes, if he comes,
I hope so, man.
They kind of messed up Luke Cage with Netflix because they actually didn't know what to do with the writing of Luke Cage. Like that's how they messed up. I was like, the show was really actually pretty good. But you need to find writers who can write for this type of show, and that's where they failed.
And then, and just but like with Netflix doing everything, like right now, the only Daredevil's legitimate and Punisher are confirmed to be coming back, and Kingpin. So the Daredevil universe, basically the show, and Punisher are confirmed to be coming from Netflix to the MCU. We still don't know about the rest of the Defenders, as they were referred to. So to see Luke Cage hopefully come back would be awesome. And so that works out. But anyway, guys, thank you guys very much for watching. Tomorrow, if you're gonna hang out with us tomorrow, we're doing more vampire stuff. We're gonna do Let the Right One In, Vampire Twilight, a little bit of Dexter. And then we shall be doing Interview with the Vampire.
Are these vampires whooping ass like Blade 2?
No. Interview the Vampire you talking about? What?
Yo.
What?
If Lestat and the homegirl from Let the Right One In don't be fighting like Blade, I don't want it.
They ain't fighting like Blade.
Little
They
fake
ain't
ass
fighting like
vampire.
Blade. Like Lestat putting up big numbers. Like Claudia and the whole crew. They murdering mad people. Like Interview with the Vampire is quite graphic.
But you know what? You didn't tell me that the graphics on this show were so phenomenal. Like you know how I love that. I love the cinematography.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
Phenomenal
Yeah,
cinematography.
it's beautiful. I mean, it's
a beautiful show.
I was shocked with it being AMC and not FX because I keep having to remind myself this is not FX. This is AMC. I'm like, I'm impressed, AMC. I was like, I'm very impressed.
They pay some hefty money
for this.
For these scenes and the wardrobe and everything is just
well. They freed up that the Walking Dead money now that that's ending. So they're like, oh, we got all the free money now.
5,000 spinoffs coming though.
Oh yeah, true.
No, that train is not over. They got
that's so cool. I forgot about that.
Maggie.
Apparently, there's a big
Negan. Maggie and Negan are getting a spinoff. Daryl is getting a spinoff.
What?
Fucking Rick and Michonne are getting a spinoff. Like it may
really?
Because
AMC don't have nothing left. Like they got rid of Breaking Bad, they got rid of Better Call Saul. They need something.
They got Anne Rice and
they have Anne Rice.
Because no, they got like 20 books. Like I read the article. Like
they got a lot of
20 books. Yeah. So like they got a lot of material. And so after this show, and they're only like 8 episodes. It's very short, but they got plenty. They
age though. These actors can age. So what do you do about that?
Makeup. Well, you if you once you see the series, like they don't do age very well in this show. That's definitely true. Because I'm like, how old is your sister supposed to be?
Well, True Blood, they went several seasons with the same actor. So I guess that works.
You just gotta let that shit go.
Well, because you gotta remember that, because like when True Blood was going on, like they're vampires, they don't age.
But no, what I mean is season. I'm just saying like actors who were playing them do age as well.
Yeah. Like Claudia in particular. I mean, like she. I think she's a young lady. I mean, I don't know if she's though. But.
And that's why I think like let the right one in is just got to be it because that little 12-year-old she don't.
If she has a growth spurt. She starts getting some boobies and some hips behind.
They're gonna be like,
and Isaiah.
They're gonna be like, "Where's Yaz at? Where's Yaz?"
Isaiah too. Isaiah get some bass in his voice.
Bass in his voice. Get some weight on him and stop looking like a little frail girl.
Hey, stop bullying me. My girlfriend here is gonna rip your hand off.
So he bossed up to this episode. I was like, all right.
He did.
All
his
right.
voice got deep too. I'm like, got to recast him.
I didn't finish watching it, but he's trying. Anyway, Vampire Day tomorrow. Thank you guys very much. We'll do 7 episodes. We'll see what's available. KJ, thanks for joining us. We'll see you around. And I'm gonna go get something to eat. So
next week, are you gonna see Wakanda Forever next week?
Yeah. We're seeing it Thursday and Friday.
Okay. Why are you seeing both days?
Because he got it. You got to absorb it the second time, which I totally understand. I'd be like that too. Yeah. I might do that. I don't know if I can do it with the crowd twice. Are you going to the
theater where what is the IMAX theater where they got the seats that lean back and you can feel the vibration? You doing that?
The second day I'm doing that. The first time I'm just going to see it the way it's meant to be. The second time I'm enjoying myself and be like, see little Easter egg stuff that maybe I'll like. Because it's a long ass freaking movie. It's almost 3 hours long. I don't know if you know that.
Oh fuck!
This is the longest. They said second to was it Endgame?
Endgame.
They said it was like 2 hours and 47 minutes, which I get. There's a lot to cover. You got to talk about Chadwick's thing. You got to have new Black Panther thing, and then you got to have the whole thing with Namor, and then other stuff that I heard that were rumored. Like, so I'm like, there's a lot of stuff that apparently they got to cover. So I get it. I just got to make sure I empty the tank because I ain't trying to leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I am.
I ain't drinking nothing. I ain't
drinking nothing. I'm gonna get a soda. They're gonna be like that small. I was like that small soda.
Or just fill up the bucket.
Why don't you guys just put on a diaper?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just gonna get a cup. I'll be like, look
away. Put on like, oops, I
crapped
my pants. Oops, I crapped my pants.
No, man, I'm saying, just look away. I got full.
Because I'm wearing them, and I just did.
I was like,
like old people